Ooh, I just spilled water all over me. That's fun.
Uh-oh.
That's the bad.
Me too.
And always remember, spoiler alert.
Welcome back to Same But Different, the movie talk show nobody asked for, but we're giving it to you anyway. I'm Derek, and with me, we always have
Brody.
If you like movies, if you like entertainment, feel free to subscribe to the channel and like the video. A lot more of whatever you're going to see here is coming up soon, so stay tuned. Brody, how you doing?
My mustache is asymmetrical today. Other than that, I'm great. I went golfing. It's hot, and I'm still sweating. How are you doing? I got my first birdie today. Sorry, that has nothing to do with the show, but I got a birdie, dude.
Let's all take a moment to celebrate with Brody and his first birdie. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done. I'm storyboarding a movie that I'm directing. Stay tuned for that. I'll probably update you throughout the process. And then, of course, this week we had the pleasure of watching a movie called Bombshell for this theme of June that we chose, Pride. This movie has a gay character in it, but also is played by a gay actress. So that's why we chose to watch this movie this time around. Let's dive right into it. Brody, please, after you.
Bombshell. I don't have too much to say about this movie. Normally, I feel like my reviews are pretty in-depth. This one's pretty succinct. You know, this movie was pretty dang all right. I can't give it too much more than that. Like, everything technical about this movie was absolutely fantastic. I'll dive into this a little bit more before I explain how I can say that and then also just say the movie was all right. The acting was incredible. They all absolutely crushed it. They was
Agreed.
just so good. The characters were so amazing, so likable, or well, the women at least. The makeup was very impressive, especially Nicole Kidman. Like she looked like Nicole Kidman, but also like a complete other person.
I did not know it won the Oscar, and I'm happy to hear that.
I've said this before, maybe even on this show. Unless I know Charlize Theron is in a movie, I don't recognize her. I would never know it was her. She doesn't look like anything that I don't know how to explain what I'm saying, but I could be in a room with
like
her and I wouldn't know it was her.
It's like the opposite of she has one of those faces.
Like the opposite of let's go Anya Taylor-Joy, who has a very distinct look. Charlize Theron is the exact opposite, who just looks like she's beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but she also just looks like she just looks like every other person. I do think, though, however, that this movie took some time to focus on showing how well they portrayed these characters instead of the message they were trying to convey. Don't get me wrong, the movie had a very powerful message and it drove it home for us, but there were some points where it just felt like they were more focused on how they made these characters and they were glorifying that than they were focused on the movie and the message they were trying to sell us. Maybe it's not even an issue. It was just kind of a thought that I had that I wrote down that now I can't even justify. I would need to watch it again, but that's another thing, is this is a movie I'll never watch again. I still found this movie incredibly boring. That's why I have to say it was okay. Up until the last 20 minutes of the movie, we were still getting introduced to A-list actors, which was very, very interesting and fun. It just was so boring. I was just so bored. It's not like I don't care about this message, because I do, but I don't care about the political newsy side of it all. So it was really, really hard for me to give a fuck. I think I enjoyed the beginning more than the end.
Interesting. Because I felt like the politics, the elections, everything like that was like put aside about, I don't want to say halfway, maybe a little bit more than halfway through the movie.
In this movie, we're following Fox News, which is very, very right-wing, but that's the satire of it. We're following Fox News, but the story is against this side. It's far more left, it's far more progressive and liberal. So there's that satire there, which is interesting for a little bit, but for somebody like me who just politics, man, I just don't care. But I didn't know this story. I actually didn't even know, like, this story was focused on the Roger Ailes assault more than anything, but Bill O'Reilly was a backstory as well. I didn't even know any of this about Bill O'Reilly. I thought he was still doing his thing and everybody still hated him. The bad is really just that I found it boring because the content wasn't for me, but it was a good movie. And I do agree, like, with its IMDb score, which is a 6.8, but since we don't do it like that and 6.5 seems harsh, I will give it a 7. I can't take away how good this movie was just because I didn't vibe with it. Everything about this movie, like cinematographically too, the camera was so raw. It was almost like its own character. It was really cool. Clearly there were people that are rating this a 2 and a 3 because they're Trump-loving, Bill O'Reilly basking idiots.
Right.
I don't know, basking wasn't the word, but I'm sticking with it.
That's okay. You used cinematographically earlier. We're on a journey of using whatever words we want.
I'm going to stood by that.
Okay, that's just wrong. Let me start my review by giving you the bad, and then I'll give you the good. Right off the hop, lost track of who everybody was at some point. They were throwing out names when we hadn't been introduced to the character themselves yet, so I couldn't put a name to a face at any point. I would be more on track with everything if I followed this story closely when it happened, but I don't. I'm not into politics, and I don't like involving myself with, especially Fox News, but anything regarding politics. It was hard to follow with names and stuff because I was like, who are these people? What, have we seen them yet? I don't know. And even if they did pop up at one point, we maybe just saw them once and never again. So there wasn't that time to let it sit and let me marinate in the name versus the face. I don't know. The editing was inconsistent. You were talking about technicalities. So not just the editing, but the choices they made artistically within the film at the beginning, breaking the fourth wall, having that Fox logo pop up on the screen and burn into your screen, up until she was in the room with the lawyers for the first time with her lawyers. That's about a quarter way through the movie. That's the last time they break the fourth wall until the end when she's in the room with her lawyers again to sign the document. Up until that first quarter, there's lots of fourth wall breaking. Charlize Theron just walking us through and looking at the camera, talking to us, the Fox News thing. There's tons of fourth wall stuff. There's narration. The majority of the movie, there was nothing. So I don't know why they started and then stopped, because that was really cool. And I really would have loved it if they kept that vibe throughout the whole movie, because that was really cool. Lastly, I would have liked to see a lot more revolving around their families and how their individual lives were affected by this mess instead of their work and career lives. We got a little bit of Charlize Theron with Mark Duplass. We didn't get much of Nicole Kidman. I know she has 2 kids. That's all I know.
That's very true.
And then Margot Robbie knew nothing of her personal life whatsoever other than the new relationship she gets into with Kate McKinnon. So I don't know, there was just a lot of backstory that was missing from these characters that I would love to have known in order to be more affected by what they were affected by. There's an innate nature where obviously I'm affected by it because it's god awful what happened to these women, but I just wanted to know more about them. Oh, I just spilled water all over me. That's fun.
Uh-oh.
That's the bad.
Me too.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. It was weird.
No way. Okay, moving on.
It was a bit, and I committed a little too hard.
The good. You've already capped it. The performances, fantastic. Other than I, Tonya, I've never seen Margot Robbie act as the way she did in this movie. The conversation she had over the phone with Kate McKinnon fucking broke me. The pacing was amazing. You said it was boring. I was enthralled the whole time. Not necessarily because of the content, because of the way the movie was paced. I didn't find myself bored. I liked when it broke the fourth wall. I mentioned that already, but that's a good point for me. And then all of the cameos / actors that they brought in to say a couple of lines was so nice and refreshing and just fun to watch. Yeah, those are my goods. They're not as deep as the bads, but I enjoyed my time with this movie overall, and I too gave it a 7 out of 10.
Then maybe I need to reassess. I'm giving it a 7 because I think it deserves it, but I didn't personally feel it was a 7, and I think that's breaking my rules.
Demote it. Reevaluate right now.
I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. I said it first and only.
That was the review. If you've seen the movie, please let us know what you thought about Bombshell down in the comments below. And right now we're going to move on to our top 5. And this week we chose to do top 5 movie reporters or anchors. Bro, let's hear what your top 5 are.
Top 5 movies about journalists and or news anchors. Number 5. Just watched it for the first time 2 nights ago, so it makes the list. The French Dispatch, Wes Anderson's newest movie. Number 4. A movie not a lot of people know about. I know we both watched it and loved it. The Bang Bang Club.
You don't remember watching that at all. It might be good, but it's gone.
Number 3. And I feel like no list would be complete without this because, come on, I'd be surprised if it's not on your list, but it is going to be Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy.
Okay.
Come on. Cultural staple. Number 2, Safety Not Guaranteed, another indie movie that maybe not a lot of people have seen, but I am in love with this movie.
Oh, good call.
And number 1, and this movie's been on my top 5 before. It's probably been my number 1 on my top 5 before, so no surprises here. Almost Famous. And Swish. Top 5, baby.
We have none of the same.
You didn't put Anchorman on your list, Bob?
I sure did.
What?
I
What?
didn't.
Excuse me?
I liked it. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. But like, I wasn't the one walking around quoting it. Everybody else was. This is my top 5 list of movies that have reporters or anchors or journalists in them. Number 5, we're going with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, April O'Neil.
Wow. Okay.
Number 4, we have Nightcrawler, starring Jake Gyllenhaal.
I try not to react. Every time you say a movie I don't like, I'm like, ew, what an idiot in my face. And I really shouldn't do that.
Oh, no, please react. I love it.
Oh, okay.
I love
Nightcrawler's trash.
Nightcrawler is not trash. Are you kidding me? Are you joking? Yo, ruin this guy in the comments. Nightcrawler is such a good movie. And it's one of the...
so broody and deep and colorful, and I'm Jake Gyllenhaal.
What? That's one of the best performances not only he has ever given, but like probably top 20 for me of all time.
Of all time? Are you forget about
time.
Bubble Boy?
Number 3, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. The remake, the David Fincher movie. One of the best remakes and so underrated.
The original is better and didn't need a remake that soon.
Number 2, Gale Weathers from the Scream franchise.
Oh, you okay? That I'm upset I didn't think about that one, but fair.
I knew I'd get
Fair
you
enough.
on that one. Number 1, because I'm a fanboy, Lois Lane
Oh,
from Superman.
I forgot she was a reporter. I'm here mouthing Jimmy Olsen. I was right. I was in the right world. I totally forgot about Lois Lane.
Why? Because a woman can't be a reporter, Brody?
Yeah. 100%. That's what I meant. Let us know what your top 5 is below, because we always like to know. Because there's probably some we forgot about.
We got the top 5s out of the way. We got the reviews out of the way. That means there's only one thing left to do, and that's decide what movie we watch next week from... The Hat of Destiny.
Got it. I have no idea what this is. I think it was one of my additions. Pink Flamingos. First of all, this movie is 51 years old. I had no idea. This movie is from 1972. It is also, beside 1972, in parentheses, it says banned. Notorious Baltimore criminal and underground figure Divine goes up against a sleazy married couple who make a passionate attempt to humiliate her and sees her tabloid-given title as the filthiest person alive. Divine is played by a person named Divine, who is a queer actor themselves, and it is also directed by John Waters, who is an openly gay man. That is why this one was on our list, as we are celebrating Pride Month, and this is going to be our last movie of Pride Month. This will actually come out on the 3rd of July, so we're a little bit overlapping here, but oh well. Yep. The top review is, Pink Flamingos will always be known to me as the film with that doggy poop scene.
So next week, watch Pink Flamingos if you can somehow get your hands on it, and come back here and watch us review it. It's probably going to be a fun time seeing how descriptions is so wacky. If you liked what you see today and you want to see more entertainment and more movie stuff, please subscribe to the channel, like the video. We will give you more if you want it. So until next time, this has been Same but Different. We love you. Goodbye.
Love you, bye.